Legal troubles over copyright infringement aren't slowing down Napster. The song-swapping company is now in the top 50 list of most visited sites on the web, according to Media Metrics. And spin-offs are on the way. Paul Verkaman reports.
When Napster burst onto the internet in 1999, it fundamentally changed the way we share music. I was 12 at the time, so with the controversy about copyright infringement flying well over my head, I acquired an impressive collection of music. A lot of it was found simply by typing names of genres into the search bar and downloading whatever came up. Some of it was junk, and some of it was really moving and impactful. But almost 2 decades later, much of that music is lost. The problem with the music I got from Napster was a lot of it was named things like Anime Music Mix Track 6. But what is that? What's it from? Who did it? There was no way to know. Additionally, before cloud technology and external hard drives, it was relatively commonplace for one's computer to seriously malfunction and to lose years of collected media. Older and wiser people were already burning their collections to CD. Unfortunately, those of us who were too young or ill-equipped just ended up losing a lot of music. And at the time, it didn't really seem like a big deal. So I lost some music from some old anime. Who cares? Okay, this LiveJournal post isn't gonna write itself. It's the same with movies. I was born in 1985, so a lot of the shows and cartoons in syndication were from the 1970s. Finding these shows later in life is almost impossible, not simply because of their age, but because of mine. I was just too young to remember the details. Although I definitely remember a whale being stabbed in the eye. That stuck with me. Every once in a while, I get this itch to find my lost media before I forget about it completely, and I've actually had some success. One of my favorites was a Japanese version of The Little Mermaid. Another turned out to be a cartoon from Russia called Ivan and the Magic Pony. And my traumatic whale experience was a Danish cartoon called Samson and Sally. If you're noticing a pattern right now, how my parents got a hold of all of those foreign cartoons before the internet, I have no idea. But these are exceptions. Most of that media is lost. Now, why is that important? I mean, what's lost is lost and we have a better system now, right? I'm not convinced that we do. An increasing amount of people are relying on streaming services for their media. In the short term, this seems like a good idea, as it saves space on people's hard drives and they can be transferred between devices. I can watch She-Ra on my phone, or on my TV, or a tablet. Except I can't, because Netflix pulled the show from its lineup. I assume it was added to generate hype for Netflix's reboot of She-Ra before it aired, but once it went live, the original show was discarded. And that's ultimately the problem I have with streaming. What you watch, and when you watch it, is not always up to you. You might think this is simply a quirk of Netflix because of the way they cycle through movies and series, and that platforms like Apple iTunes, which allow you to purchase media, don't have this flaw. But they do. In 2018, Casey Johnston wrote an article for The Outline about several public instances when companies like Apple and Amazon removed purchased content from customers' libraries, and in each instance, the reason for the loss was different. One person lost access to their movies because the publisher had them removed from the Canadian Amazon store after they had purchased them. Another lost access to her entire library after her account was terminated. And several people lost access to the book Animal Farm after Amazon determined that the reseller didn't have distribution rights. In fact, while I was writing this script, the Nintendo Wii store closed, which was the way many people bought and stored decades worth of games. In digital spaces, the definition of what we own is becoming more nebulous and also more political, because any person or company that has that much power over information is going to bring with it a troubling list of what-ifs. What if the company goes under suddenly and is forced to shut off their servers? What if the company has a serious break with an affiliate and loses access to all their affiliated content? What if the company gets a new CEO who's secretly a weird reptile and then he decides he doesn't want anyone to read Animorphs? So, now that I've scared the shit out of everyone, what can we do to avoid this kind of media loss? I don't know. Who do I look like? Douglas Rushkoff? I just complain on the internet for tips. That's not entirely fair. I do have a Patreon. And I do have one idea. For media that's important to you, I suggest keeping it in multiple formats, both digital and analog, because physical copies aren't a sure thing either. A computer can be lost, stolen, or destroyed in a hurricane, and it sounds like we're going to be having a lot more of those, so yeah. Hashtag Green New Deal. Be careful when trusting companies with media that's really important to you. Even seemingly insignificant bits of our lives are artifacts. They're fragments of our culture that, when put together, tell a bigger story. And if we don't take care of them, they're going to be lost to history.